What's going on, everyone? Happy Friday. The purpose of this video is really to clarify what you're going to be doing for the rest of the semester. So if you notice, I didn't ask you to write your recommendation report this week, and that's partly because I imagine that there would probably be some confusion and maybe some questions about what the assignment looks like. So a couple of things. One, if you ever have a question about the assignment, don't hesitate to ask. My email is always available. You can call me on the phone. I'm happy to clarify the assignments. I try to write the assignment sheets in such a way that you should be able to, at least start the assignment without any further instruction, but I realize that sometimes there's a communication breakdown, and it's just really important that if you have a question, you email me, because I will gladly reframe the assignment or talk about the assignment in a way that may make more sense to you. But fundamentally, what you're doing in your recommendation assignment is you are responding to a scenario which basically presents the real needs of an audience. So whether you're recommending tablets to a superintendent, or a heating system to a small business owner, or a set of welders to a chief financial officer of a snowplow company, you are basically trying to help them make a decision. So fundamentally, what that's going to require is for you to do some research, present the research, and draw some conclusion. That's the purpose of this assignment, and that's the way it's sort of organized. And so what I'm going to do in the second half of this video is I'm really going to walk you through an example, and I'm going to talk to you about some of the key things that I want you to consider as you're developing this assignment. So the key thing to remember is that if you ever have any questions about an assignment, all you have to do is text me, call me, or email me, and I'm happy to clarify any of those questions. But I think this email will really help you. For this week, all I really wanted you to do was begin thinking about your audience. So I'll give you an example. If you are writing about tablets to a superintendent, there are things that superintendent is going to care more about than other things. And there are going to be things that the superintendent doesn't know about tablets that maybe you need to inform them about. Largely, the way that the final report looks is going to be predicated on the audience. So when we think about a tablet, there are innumerable things that we could look at and assess relative to the tablet. We could look at the screen size. We could look at the processing speed, the RAM, the resolution of the screen, the materials that the tablet's made with, how fast it charges. And those things are going to have different varying levels of importance or relevance to a superintendent. So if we think about a superintendent's job, it primarily is to keep students safe and to help them learn. And so when you write this report and you start talking about tablets, everything has to connect back to that framework of safety and effective teaching and learning. Okay, so for instance, if you're going to write about RAM, which is a key specification when we talk about technology, you have to explain what it means in the classroom. So just to say that one has 8 gigabytes and one has 16 gigabytes isn't enough. You have to explain why that matters. Okay, and so I really want you to think carefully about the situation that's presented to you. I want you to think carefully about your audience and their unique needs. I'll give you another example. If you're writing about a heating system for a small business owner, one of the things that you have to think about is the life of that small business owner. So, for instance, convenience and maintenance. So a small business owner may only be in their shop from 8 a.m. until 5 p.m., so that rules out a number of different heat sources that may be nice, maybe gives off good heat, may be cost effective, but the maintenance is way too intensive. So a wood stove, for instance, probably doesn't make a lot of sense because of the amount of labor that requires and the amount of maintenance that requires. So what I wanted you to do today was to think about, based on that mini little profile I gave you of your audience, to really think about the things that are going to matter and move the needle with your reader. Because ultimately we're helping a very specific person make a decision. We're not helping every consumer in the world. We're not helping John Doe, some generic person. We're helping a very specific person with a very specific set of needs and a very specific way of looking at the world. We're helping that person make a decision. So if you're writing about welders to a CFO, there are certain things they're probably not going to care about, but there are other things that they're going to care a great deal about. So if you're the chief financial officer for a company, everything comes back to the bottom line. How is this particular welder going to help us do what we do more efficiently and more cost effectively? Okay? And so that's the main purpose of this first stage, is just to think about your audience. What's their worldview? What keeps them up at night? What questions are they going to have? What expectations do they need to have met? What needs do they have? And once we start thinking about that, then we can start to think intelligently about what criteria we're going to use on our recommendation report. We can think about where we might want to get our information from. And we can start to think about how we might start to weigh that information, or how we might start to calibrate that information, because we know that certain things are more important than other things. In some cases, price is the most important thing. In other cases, durability might be a super important thing. Transportability, versatility. And so The main purpose of this first part was to just start thinking really carefully about your specific audience and to think about their background knowledge, to think about exactly what they need to know and every sort of variation. And your purpose here is to really help them make a decision. So fundamentally, that's what we're going to be talking about. And now I'm going to walk you through quickly a sample recommendation report. So thanks.